Welcome to Bedtime Myths and Mysteries. Tonight, our candle flickers low as we descend into the cold stone corridors of history, to a night when England trembled on the edge of ruin, a night of whispers, shadows, and the scent of gunpowder beneath the throne. Remember, the 5th of November. But do we truly remember what it meant? Do we remember him, the man beneath the mask? The year was 1605. The air in London was sharp with smoke, the sky heavy with fear. King James I sat upon the throne, a Protestant king in a land that had seen decades of blood between faiths. Catholics, hunted and fined, whispered prayers in secret rooms. The nation's soul was a wound that would not close. And from that wound rose a plan, a conspiracy, a strike of vengeance cloaked in righteousness, a spark meant to burn the crown itself to ash. Among the men who gathered in dimly lit taverns and candle-lit cellars was one who would outlive them all in legend. His name, Guy Fawkes. He was no common rebel. Born in York, raised in faith and fire, Fawkes had fought as a soldier for Spain, his sword pledged to Catholic causes across Europe. He was tall, fierce, and patient, a man who knew how to wait in the dark. When he returned to England, he met Robert Catesby, the mind behind the plot. Catesby's dream was bold, perhaps mad, to destroy the Houses of Parliament in one thunderous moment, killing the king, his lords, and his heirs. In that fiery void, a new Catholic England would rise. Guy Fawkes' task was simple and terrible. He would light the fuse. They rented a cellar beneath Parliament. Barrels of gunpowder, 36 in all, were rolled beneath the floorboards, hidden under coal and faggots of wood. The air there must have been damp, sour with the smell of saltpeter and oil. Imagine it, the flicker of a lantern, the glint of sweat on Fawkes' face as he worked in silence, knowing that one false spark could turn him to smoke. Days turned to weeks. The plot ripened like fruit too long in the sun. But secrets, like fire, cannot be contained forever. A letter was sent, anonymous, warning a nobleman to stay away from Parliament that day. Whether it was fear or betrayal, no one knows. But the warning reached the king's men. The cellar was searched, and there, in the pale light of dawn, on November 5th, they found a stranger, a soldier, standing guard over barrels of death. Guy Fawkes was seized. When they asked his name, he gave none, only that he was John Johnson. But they already knew. His eyes burned with defiance. His silence was sharper than any confession. He was dragged to the Tower of London. Those cold walls still remember his screams. The instruments of torture waited, the rack, the manacles, the iron cradle of pain. For 2 days, he resisted. His signature, when they finally broke him, scrawled across the confession like the trembling line of a dying flame. The plot unraveled. The others fled, some killed, some captured. But the myth, the idea of Guy Fawkes, would never die. On January 31st, 1606, he was led to the scaffold in Westminster Yard. He looked out over the crowd, a sea of faces, cold and curious. He was to be hanged, drawn, and quartered. But Fawkes cheated the hangman. He leapt from the gallows, breaking his own neck before the rope could claim him. Even in death, he defied their control. And yet, that should have been the end. A failed rebel, a traitor, a name to be forgotten. But fate is strange. The fire he never lit became a yearly ritual, not of rebellion, but of remembrance. Each November, the bonfires blaze, effigies burn, and fireworks crack open the night sky like echoes of the gunpowder he once guarded. Children chant his name, not knowing that the face they burn once belonged to a man who believed himself a savior. Over centuries, his image twisted and transformed, from villain to folk hero to symbol. In the modern age, his mask became a ghost once more, the white grin of resistance, the hollow eyes of rebellion. It smiled from protests and screens, carried by those who whisper, "The people should not fear their governments. Governments should fear their people." But if Guy Fawkes could see that face now, his face, would he recognize it? Or would he see, in that mask, another fire gone astray? Perhaps he would only laugh. Or perhaps, in some deep corner of the tower, his spirit still paces, waiting for the night when the match is struck again. So when the bonfires burn this November and sparks climb the cold sky, listen closely. Beneath the crackle and cheer, you might still hear the echo of a fuse that was never lit, the heartbeat of a man who tried to change the world with fire. And so ends tonight's tale, the dark legend of Guy Fawkes, the man who tried to ignite a kingdom. But this story is only the beginning. The shadows of the tower are stirring once more. In our upcoming cinematic short, Guy Fawkes, The Night Before the Fire, you will step inside that haunted cell. You will see his final hours, the candlelight trembling on damp stone, the whispers of guilt and glory in the darkness, the guards' footsteps echoing closer, and the moment when pain and faith collided in one shattering silence. Our latest visual story animation and haunting original music will bring you face to face with the man behind the mask, as you've never seen him before. So keep your fires lit and your minds open. Subscribe to Bedtime Myths and Mysteries, where every story burns just long enough to light the dark.